You're listening to LanguageCaster's Learning English Through Football podcast. Hello everyone and welcome to the show for all those who love the beautiful game of football and who want to improve their English language skills. My name is Damien and I am in a rather chilly London and I am one half of the LanguageCaster team. The other member, of course, is Damon, who is based in Tokyo. What's the weather like where you are? And how is your favourite team doing? Did they win, lose or draw this week?
皆さんは languagecaster.com を聞いています。
Okay, that message or stinger was in Japanese and we'll be hearing some more languages throughout the show. Can you guess what they are?
Du lytter til languagecaster.com.
Now, on this week's Football Language podcast, we look back at some of the language from Game 7 of the Champions League and Europa League group stages. This week I watched 3 matches on TV and all of them produced lots of goals, 20 in total, a real goal fest. This expression means that a game or a series of games have produced a lot of goals. Maybe there was a 5, 6 or 7 goal thriller. First up, I will look at the phrase deep into stoppage time from the Benfica-Barcelona game. Then I will explain the word collapse after PSG's comeback against Manchester City before finishing up by looking at the expression to restore their 2-goal advantage from the Hoffenheim versus Tottenham game from the Europa League.
State ascoltando languagecaster.com.
Benfica 4, Barcelona 5, deep into stoppage time. This was an amazing game and one which Portuguese side Benfica must still wonder how they lost. They were 3-1 and then 4-2 up against Barca, but then the away side hit 3 goals in the last 16 minutes to take all 3 points, with the winner coming in the 96th minute. The BBC described the winning goal like this. Rafinha scored deep into stoppage time to hand Barcelona a dramatic 5-4 comeback win at Benfica and a place in the last 16 of the Champions League. This means that the winner came very late indeed. Remember that stoppage time or injury time is the time added on after the 90 minutes are up. This time is added on to the regular 90 minutes because there are different kinds of stoppages during the game, such as substitutions, injuries, goal celebrations, time wasting, and yellow and red cards. So, if a team scores a goal after the 90th minute, we can say that they have scored in stoppage time. But if they score really late into this period, right before the final whistle, then we can add the word deep to show that this was the case. It was really, really late. In this game, Benfica could not respond to Barcelona's deep into stoppage time goal as the referee blew the full-time whistle soon afterwards. An amazing finish to a great game. PSG 4, Manchester City 2, collapse. The next night, Manchester City travelled to Paris with both sides desperate for a win to ensure they would continue in this year's competition. City went 2-0 up in the second half, but were unable to respond to PSG's constant wave of attacks and ended up losing 4-2. Paris were great and were rewarded for their all-out attack with 4 excellent goals, but City were poor and did not seem able to stop their opponents. It seemed as if they had collapsed, which means that they were unable to respond to their opponents' attacks and simply allowed them to win easily. So a collapse in football is when a team loses their lead in a really dramatic fashion, which is what happened to City.
Vous écoutez languagecaster.com.
Hoffenheim 2, Tottenham 3 restored their lead. The following night, I watched my team Tottenham travel to Germany to take on Hoffenheim in the Europa League. Tottenham went 2-0 up in the first half, but the home side staged a comeback, and when it was 2-1, I was a little worried. But unlike Manchester City, they did not collapse and scored again to make it 3-1, which meant they had restored their 2-goal lead. They were once more winning by 2 goals. To restore means to bring back or to re-establish something, and this is what Tottenham did. They returned to the previous 2-goal lead they had. Of course, being Spurs, they had to concede another goal to make it 3-2, but they did manage to hold on for the win.
Hola a todos, estáis escuchando languagecaster.com.
Okay, let's take a look at this week's predictions. We have 4 games this week, and we have one from Italy, which sees leaders Napoli take on Juventus. I think this is going to finish 1-1. And we also see Manchester City hosting Chelsea. Manchester City with 3 new signings, which I think will give them a lift. I think they're going to be too strong for Chelsea and win 2-1. Now, in the WSL, the Women's Super League, the big game here on Sunday is Chelsea against Arsenal. And I think Chelsea will be too strong for Arsenal. 2-1 to the Blues. And finally, Fulham host Manchester United on Sunday evening in the Premier League. I think the Londoners, Fulham, will win this one 1-0. There are my predictions for the week. Hopefully I can maintain my 3-point lead over Damon at the top of the predictions table. What do you think is going to happen? Drop us a line and let us know.
Esteu escoltant languagecaster.com.
Right, here is a reminder that if you have any questions about the language of football or comments on the podcast, please contact us via email at admin@languagecaster.com. Also, come along to the website to check out our Football Language Forum, where you can ask and answer any questions you have on the language of football. And don't forget to come along to our massive glossary of football vocabulary to find out more about different kinds of football language. And we'd love it if you tell a friend about us and maybe give us a like and follow on social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook and Blue Sky, amongst many others.
Je luistert naar languagecaster.com.
Thanks for that message, which was in Dutch. We also heard Catalan, French, Italian, and Spanish and Danish. And thanks everyone for listening today. We looked at the phrases deep into stoppage time, collapse, and to restore their 2-goal advantage from some of the big European matches during last week. Let us know if you hear these phrases while watching football in any language, of course. And don't forget, there's a transcript for this podcast with lots of vocabulary support for you, and you can read the transcript to this show while listening along. Enjoy all the football, and we'll be back early next week with a new football language expression. Bye-bye.